three organs of government. All over the world, digital technologies have been transforming the way societies function. In India, till about 30 years ago, people who wanted to transfer money to a distant relative would have to queue up at the post office or to send a money order after filling up a form, or if they had to send a payment to some business, they would queue up at their bank to obtain a demand draft, which would then have to be sent by post. Earlier, the digital world was not so advanced. In India, the Indian technology was not so advanced in those days, but today it is very advanced. By a mobile app, you can send money to anyone. You can pay to any showroom, any market. Today, in today's world, vegetable vendor has also the payment app, which digitized app. So you can pay to him also by your mobile app, digitally. Okay. But earlier it was not so in India, not only in India but also in some parts of the world. But today it's very advanced. The technology has been advanced today. Earlier people had to stand in a queue to send money to their relatives. Maybe a son is working in Gujarat and he wanted to send money to his mom and dad, so he has to stand in a line to send the money to his mom and dad for their financial as maybe his mother and father is financially dependent on him, so he had to stand on the line in the post office to send money to his father and mother. And if anybody wants to do some business, then he or she would have to stand in a queue in bank to send the money to make a demand draft. A demand draft, I will show you the picture. See, this is demand draft. It is made by the bank. It is given by the bank on behalf of the customer. So if anyone wants to start a business earlier, he or she would have to stand in a line to make this demand draft to send it to his partner to send so this is the picture of the demand draft. Okay, now let us continue. You have probably never heard these terms, money order or demand draft, because today we have digital means of sending across money instantly. So I have given you example. His son was standing in the line in the post office to give his father and mother the money order, and I have shown you the picture of a demand draft which is given by the bank, which earlier it was given by the bank on behalf of the customer. Okay. However, this has also created a new class of criminals who, without even leaving their desk, find digital ways of stealing people's money. This has led many governments to pass new laws in order to fight such criminal activities. This is called cybercrime. Now, what is cybercrime, children? Cybercrime is the criminal activity that either targets or uses a computer network, or a network device. Most cybercrime is committed by cyber criminals or hackers who want to make money. However, cybercrime aims to damage computers or networks for reasons other than profit. Cybercrimes can expose confidential customer information and cause permanent damage to the reputation of businesses, which results in loss of loyal customers, decreased revenue and reduced market share. Data breaches can lead to legal action, fines and penalties, especially in heavily regulated industries. So here I have told this is a crime. Some of those criminals who believe in robbing innocent people of their hard-earned money instead of using their skills to contribute to the society have been arrested and convicted in court. They are usually fined as well as jailed for some years. So government has made many laws against this. And who fights cyber criminals? The cyber fraud task forces, they fight against this type of criminals. Some examples of cyber crime is you must have heard Ukraine power grid attack. It was done by cyber criminals. The 2014 Yahoo attack. It was also done by the cyber criminals. They have done this digitally. They are usually fined as well as jailed for some years. So government has made laws and punishment for this type of criminals. Through this example, we can see how the three branches or organs of a government work together. Now let me first tell you what is government. The government is the administrative organ of the state. To live peacefully in a society, we need a person or a group of persons who can govern and protect us. The body of persons which governs is called government. It formulates laws and takes decisions in the common interest of the people. Without a government, there would be complete chaos in a country. The word government comes from the Latin word gubernus, which means to steer a ship, to guide or to rule. So government is an institution that makes political decisions to run a country. It refers to a group of people who are responsible for controlling a country or a state. So why do we need government? We need government to restore law and order, to ensure cooperation among the people, to make collective decisions and to get things done. A need for a political organization was felt. This political organization is known as government. Now, functions of a government. The government is responsible for maintaining law and order within the country. It has a police department which helps the government in protecting people and preventing crimes such as thefts and murders. Government is responsible for formulating laws and ensuring all abide by it. It builds infrastructure, roads, bridges, railways, post and telegraph, parks, dams, etc. It implements all administrative and financial decisions on behalf of the people with the help of various agencies. Government protects the state from foreign attacks. Army, navy and all forces are involved in the process. So, government makes and implements laws for the purpose. In the case of a dispute or crime, the government resolves them through courts. Courts are also a part of the government. Okay. So, the government works for the welfare of the people. It provides basic facilities to the people such as education, health care, transportation, electricity, etc. It also builds roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, etc. Okay, and it also supplies electricity and postal and railway services. It provides supply of the electricity and postal services also. It is responsible for the food of the people. The responsibility of the government is to ensure that all the citizens have enough to eat. It controls the price of the commodity also. It implements all administrative and financial decisions on behalf of the people with the help of various agencies. I have told you now. It controls the price of the commodity, and the government is also responsible for all the financial decisions on behalf of the people also. Government protects the state from foreign attacks. Army, navy and all forces are involved in the process. It protects the boundaries of a country from the enemy countries, and it also maintains peaceful relationship with other countries. Government works for all welfare of the citizens, providing healthcare facilities, that is pulse polio program, education, Sarva Shiksha Abhigyan and old age pension scheme. It takes action on many social issues. It also makes several programs and implements them to help the poor. It also makes various laws to prevent female forticides and so on. Okay. It ensures economic stability by regulating the inflow and outflow of money and trade. Government organizes rescue and relief work during floods, fires, earthquakes, tsunamis, etc. In case of natural disaster like earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, droughts, etc., government organizes aid and assistance for the affected people. Government takes action on social issues like poverty, child labor, unemployment, and also protects the interest of the weaker section of the society. The government has made rules to prevent child labor. If anybody employs a child below the age of 14 years as a laborer, he or she can be jailed or fined a large sum of money. Moreover, if anybody feels that a particular law is not being followed, he or she may complain it to the court. Okay. The legislature is the organ that makes new laws or legislates. Sometimes it also updates or removes existing laws. This is done by an assembly. Of representatives of the people. We will soon see how the Indian system works. So, what is legislature? The law-making organ of the government is called legislature. See, here I have given you a small chart. Okay, organs of the government. Yeah. So, Parliament is the supreme legislative body of India. It comprises of the President and two houses, that is Rajya Sabha, Council of States, and Lok Sabha, House of the People. So, Ministry of Law and Justice is the oldest limb of the government of India. It consists of three departments, namely the Legislative Department, the Department of Legal Affairs, and the Department of Justice. It is also concerned with administration of election law and electoral reforms, besides dealing with legislation in respect of certain co-current field legislation such as civil procedure, personal law, etc. The legislative department is mainly concerned with drafting of all principal legislation for the central government, that is bills to be introduced in Parliament, ordinances to be promulgated by the President, measures to be enacted as President's Act, for states under the president's rule and regulations to be made by the president for union territories is also concerned with election laws. So here Parliament is the supreme legislative body of the, it is the most biggest legislative body of India, and it consists of president and two houses, that is Rajya Sabha. Rajya in Hindi means state and Sabha is council, so it is called Council of States, and Lok Sabha, the house of the people. Lok means people. Okay. All the legal affairs and the Department of Justice are comes under this legislative department. The election laws regarding the election, everything, rules and regulations comes under this legislative body. Whatever bill is going to be passed for the country, whatever bill anybody will if anybody will just give the bill to pass for the country, first he will have to introduce it in the parliament, and if everyone will agree, then the bill will be passed. And president is also responsible for taking making the rules and regulations for the state, and president can take measures, that is actions for the state. Okay. All this comes under the legislature. Okay. Executive, the organ that executes laws is called executive. It consists of Prime Minister and his council of ministers. Now let me explain you in a very simple language. So who is in charge of the administration of your school? Who takes important decisions in a school or a university? In any organization, some office holders has to take decisions and implement these decisions. We call this activity administration or management. But administration requires a body at the top that will take policy decisions or the big decisions and supervise and coordinate the routine administrative functioning. You may have heard about the executives of big companies, banks or industrial units. Every formal group has a body of those who function as the chief administrators or the executives of that organization. So in school, who is in charge of the administration of your school? Of course, principal sir or principal ma'am. Okay. He or she takes the charge to maintain everything, to see how the school is running, to see what is being maintained in the school, and he or she also takes important decisions regarding your school, right? So he is the executive of your school. Some of maybe your vice principal or vice principal ma'am is responsible for to decide the policies and rules and regulations, and then they implement it in the school. They sit with principals and they decide these rules can be implemented in the school, and they just pass the rule, and every student and every teacher, staff, everyone has to maintain it, right? So this is the executive. Okay, they makes law, they executes law. Sorry, the law has been maybe made by maybe the president of your school makes law, or the board members of your school makes law, and principal and vice principal makes them sure that these rules are being maintained in the school. Okay, this is executive. Okay? This organ is called executive. So the word executive means a body of persons that looks after the implementation of rules and regulations in actual practice. In case of government also, one body may take policy decisions and decide about rules and regulations, while the other one would be in charge of implementing those rules. The organ of government that primarily looks after the function of implementation and administration is called the executive. I told you just now, maybe the president of your school or the board members of your school makes some law and they pass that law, and your principals and vice principals or madam, they just implement, they just see that whether the rules and regulations are being maintained in the school or not. They just implement it. Okay. In government body also this is maintained. Executive is the branch of government responsible for the implementation of laws and policies adopted by the legislature. The legislature, the legislative body, they make law. They make law, and the executive body just ensures to implement the laws. The executive branch is not just about presidents, prime ministers and ministers. It also extends to the administrative machinery, that is civil servants. In central government, there is a president who is the formal head of the state of India, and the prime minister and the council of ministers, which run the government at the national level. Okay. At the state level, the executive comprises the governor and the chief minister and the council of ministers. See, here I have given you the chart of the central and state legislative. So students, please go through it. And these are the types of executives. Okay. So we got to know that the Union Executive of the Indian Constitution is the most important body that distributes the powers of both the state and the union level between the President and Council of Ministers and the Prime Minister. Okay, the Union Executive of India consists of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, who are the real heads of the Union Executive that exercises all the executive power at the national level, but the President, with the advice of the Council of Ministers along with the Prime Minister, can exercise these executive powers. Judiciary. The organ which safeguards laws is called judiciary. It punishes those who break the laws. So judiciary is the third organ of the government of India. It is the branch that interprets the law, settles disputes and administers justice to the citizens of India. It is said to be the watchdog of democracy. The Indian judicial system is the guardian of the Constitution of India. It is also said to be the guardian of Constitution of India. The judiciary of India is a single integrated judicial system. It is a pyramid-like structure with the Supreme Court of India right at the top. In India, the Supreme Court is the topmost safeguards of the law of India. It is the safeguards of judicial system of India. Supreme Court is the topmost court of India. after which is the High Court follows, and then the District Court, and in the end, which is the smallest court, is the subordinate courts. The lower courts function under the direct superintendence of the courts above them. The state court, that is the district court, and the subordinate court has to follow the orders from the Supreme Court. These courts are supervised by the Supreme Court. Okay. So decisions made by the Supreme Court are binding to all the subordinate courts. Additionally, it can transfer judges of the high courts. Supreme Courts can move cases from the other courts to themselves. It can also transfer a matter from one high court to another. The High Court can hear appeals from the lower courts and issue rights for fundamental rights. Additionally, the High Court can deal with the cases within the jurisdiction of the state. High courts have the power of exercise superintendence and control over the courts below them. District courts deal with the cases which arise in the district. It consider appeals on decision which the lower courts give. Additionally, the district courts also decide on matters which involve serious criminal offences. Subordinate courts. Apart from the different types of courts, there are two more branches of legal system in India. There are the two branches of judicial system are: criminal law deals with cases when a citizen or an entity commits a crime. A point is registered when the local police file a crime report. The court finally gives the verdict of the criminal cases on the matter. Second is civil law. It deals with the cases when there is a dispute over the violation of the fundamental rights of a citizen. See, I have given you the chart of the judicial system of India. This is the chart. Okay. Levels of the government. India is divided into 28 states and 9 union territories. The government in India functions at 3 levels. So, students, I have already explained you the legislature, executive and judiciary. The legislature is the organ that makes new laws or legislates. Sometimes it also updates or removes existing laws. This is done by an assembly of representatives of the people. We will soon see how the Indian system works. Okay. Executive. The executive is the organ that implements or executes the laws. This includes the head of state, who may be a president, a prime minister or a chief minister, the ministers and any agency responsible for enforcing law and order. In our example above, that is agency is the cyber police. I have told you about the cyber crimes. The judiciary is the system of courts which decides whether someone has broken the law, and if so, what course of action should be taken, including punishment if necessary. Sometimes it also examines whether a decision taken by the executive is right, or whether a law passed by the legislature is well conceived and fair to all. So I have already explained you. In any good system of governance, these 3 organs must be kept separate. Although they interact with each other and work together, this separation is called the separation of powers. So central government had different power, state government has different power. Okay, they want to tell you these things. It is intended to provide a system of checks and balances. And the different power is that central government can implement laws and rules and laws to every state, that is the citizen of India, every state of India and union territories of India. But the state government is only allowed to implement their rules and regulations in their state only. not out of their state. Okay. It is intended to provide a system of checks and balances. This means that each organ of the government can check what the other is doing and restore balance if one organ acts beyond its expected role. Now, 3 levels of government. Any government operates at 2 levels at the least: local and national. In many countries, including India, it functions at 3 levels or tiers. Local, state or regional, and national. Each level deals with different matters. To use a comparison, if a bulb in your home is not lighting up, you will first check the bulb, switch, fuse, etc. If that does not work, you may call an electrician. And if it is found that the problem is not within your home, you may need to go to the electricity board and file a complaint. These are also 3 levels of dealing with a problem. Here it has been explained with an example. See, here it wants to say that if something home, it is mentioning your state as a home, and if any bulb or anything it does not work, then you will have to first check your bulb, switch or fuse, and if does not work, then you will have to call the electrician. And if electrician also says that everything is okay in your house, nothing has been wrong, then you will have to go out of your house, that means to the electricity board, and file a complaint. In this example, it wants to tell, if there is a problem in your local government, if local government is not working, then you can go to the state government to file a complaint. And if the state government is also not doing their work, if not working, then you can complain to the central government. It is the national level government. Any state of India or any union territory of India can complain to the central government. In India, we have local governments, state governments, and central or union government. Imagine that following heavy rain for a few days, there is a flood in a part of a district. If it is not too severe, the local authorities may be able to deal with it. If it involves several towns and many villages, the state government will step in and send rescue teams to help affected people. But if it's a massive flood affecting vast areas, the central government may also come to help by sending relief supplies, the army, etc. These are the 3 levels again. So, India is divided into 28 states and 9 union territories. The government in India functions at 3 levels, that is central government. It is the highest level of the government which makes decisions for the entire country. State level, the government at this level makes laws for the people residing in a particular state. Local level, government at the local level in cities, towns and villages is known as local self-government. So, central government, it works at the national level. The government at the national level is known as the national government or the central government or union government. It deals with the issues related to the entire country. Example is Indian government. State government, it works at the state level. The government at the state level is called the state government. This government deals with the issues related to an entire state. Example, Delhi government, West Bengal government, Bihar government, Tamil Nadu government. Okay. Local government. Local government, it works at the town or the village level. The government in a village, town or locality is known as a local government. This government deals with the problems faced by the local people, example panchayati system, Jila Parishad, municipal committee, municipal corporation, etc. Like the central government at national level, every state there is a legislature or Vidhan Mandal which consists of a government. Okay. So imagine that following heavy rain for a few days, there is a flood in a part of a district. This you can see the example of Kerala, which due to extremely heavy rainfall in July. In July, this is the latest topic on the heavy rainfall. So I am giving you the example of Kerala. Due to extremely heavy rainfall in July 24. It caused catastrophic landslides and flooding in the state of Kerala. So as it was a massive flood affecting many areas of the Kerala district, Kerala state. So the central government launched a large search and rescue operation, which included the aircraft, boats, rescue and medical teams and police also. The government provided supplies to those who needed help and conducted many rescue operations there. So during this, central government also helped state government by funding some money, and they also arranged for the food for people and the place. The state government also arranged for the place for the people to live who have been affected by that flooded, whose area were flooded and their houses were just full of water. So, yeah. Everything was submerged in water that time. So both the governments worked together and they arranged the food, place to live for them, clothes, everything. See, here it is given the judiciary, legislature, executive, which I have given you the chart. Yeah.